My name is Zelda. I go to school for the rich, the children of local bigwigs and celebrities. My parents are business people. They're engaged in large supplies of vegetables from other countries. It turned out to be a profitable business, so in just a couple of years we managed to make a fortune. We spent our first money on our small needs, going to restaurants, buying clothing, gadgets, short trips. Yes, my parents weren't always rich. I know perfectly well what a lack of money means because I used to go to a public school. When my parents started doing better, they decided to have more children. After some time, 2 twin boys appeared in our family, Christian and Dylan. Unlike me, the boys had everything from the very birth. My father bought a large house with a gorgeous view of the garden, which my mom kept. Over the years, our appetites only grew. I wanted even more expensive things: cars, food, entertainment, clothing. Frankly, we lived in a grand style and it was amazing. I remember the day I was admitted to an elite school. I almost lost my mind with happiness. There was only one such school in the city and it was open only for the elite. Well, I mean for the rich. It's not easy to get in. It has its own security, fences, entrance with special chips and surveillance everywhere. There's a parking lot, new classrooms, custom-made furniture, a cafeteria with restaurant-quality food, TVs and computers in every classroom and hallways. In short, it has everything. Just pay and learn. The sponsors, as you understand, were our parents. I still don't know how much money my dad paid, and it did not bother me at all. I made friends at school: Margaret, Tiffany, and Rachel. Imagine, even the rich have their own rich. These girls were loaded with money. They were like my siblings. They were born in luxury and had no idea what it meant to buy flour and bake your own bread at home. Well, that's not the point. I was friends with them because it was prestigious to be with them. They taught me to behave at their level. Margaret, the most important in the trinity, I only saw her cry once. It was at her party in her mansion. Then she broke a nail, which is why she cried. She was ruthless, demanding, sometimes even aggressive, and very beautiful. At first, I was afraid of her, and then I got used to it. As for Tiffany and Rachel, they were just her friends, just as rich, but kind of silly. This is how the 4 of us were friends, or if one could even call it a friendship. Rather, we just walked everywhere together. We loved to shop, take selfies, but I don't remember ever having a personal conversation with them. Superficial interests were all that made up our friendship, but we were popular at school and it suited me. No one in my school knew that I used to be poor. I did not even want to think about it, but my father, on the contrary, was proud of it. He insisted that we must know who we were and not to lose our sense of self. Personally, I don't share that opinion. Who likes being poor? And why do you want to remember such a nightmare? At a family dinner one evening, Dad began talking about our life in poverty again, and then my mom suddenly remembered a girl I was friends with. Her name was Susie. When we lived in a rental apartment, I was friends with her. Mom called us sisters because we were so close that even became similar in appearance. Susie was incredibly kind. She was not from a rich family, rather very average, very simple. She had great parents and they were friendly with mine. I really have a lot of memories with her, how we got into people's gardens and stole apples. I just loved eating Mr. Phil's apples. We played with her so that we went home dirty and tired, but I was so happy. Susie's family worked in production. They knew how to value time, money, and health because their oldest child was born with a heart defect. Suddenly, a surgery was too expensive, but they did everything to support him with meds. I remember that Susie had no money for lunch at school. I always shared mine, and then, taking risks for me, she stole apples from Uncle Phil. For some reason, only his were so sweet and tasty. So, when we got money and moved, Susie and I cried a lot. We did not want to part, but we could not stay there either. So we exchanged phones and I promised that we would still remain friends. But the new life turned my head and I answered her calls less and less, and then I completely stopped. And then I thought that if Margaret found out about her and that I used to be poor, she would stop communicating with me. So I simply deleted Susie's numbers, erasing everything connected with her. At dinner, Mom asked how she was doing. "Why are you talking about her now?" I asked, and my mom replied that I hadn't talked about her for a while. I dropped my eyes and said nothing. The conversation about Susie did not stop, so I just got up from the table and went to my room. Mom has not asked anything about her ever since then. Time passed and we learned that business is not entirely predictable and that sometimes not controllable at all. Debt crashed and we lost a lot of money at once. Do you know how painful it is to fall when you've been flying high? And it's double the pain when you know how it is on the bottom. We did not tell anyone a word about this, pretended decided that everything was fine so that my father's competitors did not crush him even more. The summer break was stressful. It was the first summer in a long time when we did not go anywhere, did not spend any money, did not buy new furniture in the house, and so on. Mom and Dad did not sleep at nights. They often fought and tried their best to save the business. Fall came, but there was still no good news. I went to school in last year's outfits. I had to lie to Margaret that the thieves stole all my new stuff. On the very first day of school, according to tradition, the girls and I went to a cafe after school, where each of us talked about her amazing summer. Trips, shopping, boys. My discomfort intensified when we saw on Margaret's Instagram that her parents gave her a car for her 17th. She celebrated her birthday in France and then traveled around Europe for all 3 months. Rachel and Tiffany did not fall far behind and also traveled with their families, and only I had nothing to tell. Only how I sat at home and helped my mother count the remaining money and what else we could sell. Well, what about you? Why are you quiet? Tell us where you went, the girls asked. I hesitated. My family and I traveled to Central Asia, I blurted out, because I knew that they knew nothing about these countries, and Susie told me about them some time ago. I said what I knew, and the girls were amazed because it was so exotic to them. When they asked for photos, I said that my camera was also stolen, and I did not take any photos on my iPhone, and that I made a sad face. It seems to have worked. I sighed to myself. I could breathe again. Then Margaret offered to go to some apple orchard near her house to celebrate the beginning of the school year and at the same time to test drive her new car. All of us agreed. It was a cool place. The smell of apples reminded me of my childhood, and for a second I wanted to cry. While the girls and I were taking pictures, someone came up to us and offered to buy apples from them. Zelda? The girl said. Oh no, it was Susie. I quickly glanced at Margaret, who gave her such a bitchy look that made even me uncomfortable. Pretending that she was mistaken, I left. At that moment, my conscience tormented me. Susie looked even worse than before. I wanted to hug her, but I could not. In the evening, I came home and my mom said, "You won't believe who I met today." There was a basket of apples on the table. It was Susie. I found her number and called. She was offended, and I did not even know how to apologize or what to think of in my defense. You don't have to say anything. I know you well. I was offended not that you did not say hello, but that you became a different person, she said and hung up. I did not sleep at all that night. I had nightmares that my friends would find out about my past or that we were getting poorer again. What would happen then? These nightmares became prophetic. It was not possible to save Dad's business, so soon his company officially declared bankruptcy and closure. My parents put up our mansion for sale to pay the debt. They wrote about us in the press. You should have seen Margaret's face. I immediately became an empty place for her. She and the girls stopped saying hi to me, not to mention even the words of support. My family and I began to go through difficult times, and only then we learned who were our true friends and who were not. Mom took me out of school and we moved to a simpler area. I began to go to a public school again. But you know, although these difficulties were hard, I was mostly disgusted by myself. I still remember the look on my best friend's face, her eyes, and the smell of my favorite apples. I tried to find her address, but I couldn't. So, after some time, I finally went to the apple orchard. It turns out that Susie worked there. I went up to her and could not utter a word. I just burst into tears, burning with shame. Susie has a good heart. She hugged me and smiled. At that moment, Margaret and the girls were passing by. Oh yes, it was to be expected. She started throwing insults at us about poverty, calling me a liar and homeless. And at that moment, a large ripe apple from Susie flew into her face. At first, I was scared, but then I began to laugh so hard that my head hurt after. Margaret was furious, but she could not answer back at that. Susie drove her away from the garden and said that if she decided to offend me again, dozens of apples would fly in her face. Since then, we have never crossed paths again. Well, as for us, we became friends again. My dad opened another business. Doing business was in his blood, and it did well again. Only this time, I told my parents not to change the house and the school. If you like this story, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe.